Hey, happy day to another beautiful Thursday. Well, we come to you with the best of sporting stories around the world, internationally, locally, and of course, globally. A lot is really happening in the sporting world, and we're always here to bring to you the very best of them. I'm your uncle, as always, Ebere Ugunawel. Today promises to be a wonderful day. Having the house to be with me this morning who's going to be helping us out with the analysis this morning. I'm talking about Tony Nnamdi. Anthony, how are you doing today?
Pleased to be here. I'm very fine.
Yeah, very fine. Pleased to be here. But you had a wonderful day yesterday, right?
Oh, very much so.
All right, let's kickstart with what we have for you today. The very first story, under 20 AFCON Aibo Ogun targets World Cup tickets in Niger. Well, looking at the under 20 AFCON, and the coach itself has actually done very well, and he feels that if he actually do very well in the AFCON, of course, he should get to the World Cup. But let's talk about the under 20 team. Do you think they really have what it takes to probably succeed at the AFCON under 20, then make it to the World Cup?
I think certainly in our past, we have done very well under 20s, particularly under 17s. Okay. Have done very well. So I think the last three under 20 teams, we've won something. So this is very big talk, this is fighting talk, and there's a lot of confidence. He must have a lot of confidence in the young players and the team for him to be talking like this. So I'm very excited.
Yes, there's always this discussion whenever it comes to competition like this, that most times the football ministry in Nigeria don't give these guys enough support, and it's something you saw what actually happened with the girls, the Alcon girls. They were not really taken proper care of. They went to the competition, they lost their first match. Yes, they lifted the trophy, but there's always this talk time and time again that they don't get much support and encouragement when it comes to tournament like this.
Yes, as they say, God gives you nothing that you can't handle. So I think it's going to be the same thing in this case too. But I'm very confident. I think they'll do very well.
All right, I'm very confident that Nigeria will do very well at the AFCON under 20 and probably clinch onto that ticket that will be taking them to the World Cup. Now, away from that, we know the NPFL League has started, and it's something that a lot of people have been watching and looking out for when we look at what really happened last year and how the league actually ended in a manner that wasn't really good. And, the issue with the NFF, the league, the NNL, all those things came to play. And when the NPFL was supposed to start, it didn't start at the right time. But right now it has started, and of course the matches are going. But something is really not really right here. Of course, we know about Remo Stars. Remo Stars just got promoted to the NPFL. But the sad news is the coach who promoted this team to the NPFL just resigned. I mean, Tony, this is something not really nice. For a very long time, you've been working so hard to achieve something, and finally you got it, and now you're laying back.
Yeah, you would expect that he would be rewarded for his efforts and his struggles. Okay. Unfortunately, the team has decided, or the chairman, etc., has thought that, okay, look, let's appoint somebody with more experience, who's won something in the MPFL before, Boboye. For Plateau United. Yeah. And then he would have to be downgraded to assistant. As you can see, he clearly wasn't happy with that. Yeah. It's unfortunate because this isn't the first time it's happened before. In 2017, it also happened as well. Hopefully he lands on his feet and he finds another team, or finds some kind of assistant role, because he's a good coach.
But this is really, yes, I know he's a good coach, but a whole lot of people have been talking about it. One of the coach, he's really done very well, because anyone who actually went through that, process, you wouldn't just want to lay the person off like that. And the person, you begin to ask yourself, what could have been that one reason that would have made him resign? I was going through the story yesterday, and, details to follow. I couldn't pin down on a particular reason why he resigned from Remo Star. But it's not a good news after leading them to the top flight league, NPFL.
I mean, essentially, he's been downgraded to assistant manager from being manager. Yeah. I mean, that's essentially the issue that he has. He feels like he's qualified because he brought the team up. He knows the players, he knows the team, he knows the club. Yeah. That he should now go on and try his hat at MPFL. It's a step up for him. He's new experience. However, I think they should have given him some kind of a chance, or maybe he should have sat back, waited. Okay. Got some experience from the new coach, the new manager, and then see where his eggs fall after that.
All right, well, let's keep moving on. It's actually not a sad news for Remo Stars Football Club as their coach has resigned, haven't led them to the NPFL. Well, I don't know reasons why he did that, but it's oftentimes it's not a good one because after working so hard and, it's just time for you to probably prove your mantle again in a bigger place, a bigger way, and you were just, relegated to the background. You're resigning and, trying to leave the whole stuff for someone else. Well, I don't know, but as time goes on, whatever the issue is, we'll be here to tell you all of that. And just to also remind you that this is quite participatory. You can join in a discussion this morning. The numbers are on your screen. Call us and tell us what you feel about what we're discussing. Now, let's move on to the next story. We know about this guy who's really doing very well, who's done very well in the MPFL, who's played and scored great goals. We're talking about Junior Lokosa. Lokosa was that man, Genaro, the Nigerian coach, actually went to watch specifically when the ITO Cup final took place at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Delta State. He played that game and it wasn't really a good one for him because I was there live in the stadium and I watched him. He's a great player, but that particular day, that final was not his day. Well, the young man has moved up. He has gone to various clubs from Denmark to Italy, and you can just name them for trials, and it has really not been favorable for the young guy, Junior Lokosa. But finally, he has sealed a deal to experience in Tunisia. And the good thing about that deal is he was signed without a trial. And how did it happen? Report says that the team, Esperance, got a call from Genaro, and Genaro was like, see, you don't need trial. Junior Lokosa is good. How would you grade that? Do you think it's the right thing to do?
I think if that was the case, that's great. It's particularly for Lokosa himself. Yeah. It's great for Nigerian football, and particularly when African Cup of Nations comes around, hopefully we have some kind of chance of participating in it, because this is definitely a step up in terms of competitive football. Okay. Esperance is a very good team, yeah. And the Ticino League is very competitive and very strong. So we hope that he now develops, because he's 26. Yeah. You understand that that this will be a good thing for him in his career.
Good. Yes, good. But when you look at the situation surrounding how he actually got into Esperance, you don't get to these days that you get to sign a player without trial. You probably want to look at this guy perform and probably assess him that he's good to be in this team. Okay, I get to know his weaknesses and his strength. But it wasn't in the case of Junior Lokosa. Esperance called the Nigerian coach, and the Nigerian coach was like, you know what, go ahead with the deal. So you think it was the right thing the Nigerian coach did to have told them to go ahead with the deal without the trial?
I think if he's had some hand in it, I think it's good. I think he must be thinking about his team, and he's looking at his striking options, and he sees Lokosa as definitely one of them, if this is true. And therefore, that means Lokosa is in good standing to potentially be included in the national team. He just basically fell out of the last 23 of going towards the World Cup. So he's there. He's knocking on the door.
Really? Okay, yeah. Good. Let's see how it goes. That's why we really want to hear from you on the other side. The numbers are on your screen. Call us and tell us what you feel about what we're discussing. Junior Lokosa, this young guy has really done very well. Of course, the last time we had a friendly match at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, he was actually invited by the Nigerian coach, Genaro. We know he's really good. We know he scored great goals in the MPFL. But going to a new club in Tunisia, in Tunis, Esperance of Tunisia, and signing a deal without a trial. Do you think the Nigerian coach really got it right on that one, or do you think there's a personal kind of relationship or whatever that has made the coach say, okay, you know what, go ahead with that deal and don't bother yourself about trying him because the guy is good? Whatever it is, we're here to take your calls and hear your one side of the story. Now let's move on to the next story. If you've really been a fan of the social media of late, you would have found out that there's this stuff trending on the social media. A lot of people coming out to do the 10-year challenge. You get to bring your picture from way back 10 years ago, and you place it side by side with your current picture. Well, that's exactly it happened in the sporting world. One of the Super Eagles fans hails Mikel Obi as the only survivor of Class 28 AFCON. And you look at this young man, Mikel. Ever since it started. Now, when you look at the 10-year challenge, for instance, you see in that team, Mikel was there, the likes of Tai Taiwo was there, the likes of some other great players who are not there now. Mikel Obi is the only surviving player who has not faded away. What would you have to say about that?
As you know, Mikel, he's not particularly blessed with pace or those things that, define Africans in terms of their features, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But he has a footballing brain. He's very intelligent, and his range of passing is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that actually he's still there after all this time, and he brings a wealth of experience.
So, you're trying to tell me now that because he's very intelligent, is that what actually led him to this time? But we're also talking about, that season, Mikel, came out with the likes of Atai Taiwo, Obuike, there was this guy then who was a striker, Haruna. I mean, these guys were also great, and they were about the same age grade. So why is it only Mikel now?
Because if you look at our midfield is not particularly, blessed in terms of its experience and its competitive, the players in terms of competitive football. And Mikel brings that. He's been the Champions League winner. He's played in the Premier League. He's played in so many leagues. So I think he's a staple because of his quality.
All right, we're still talking about Mikel Obi now. We know the young man has actually terminated his contract in China, and a lot of clubs are probably particularly coming for the young man, of which we know that one of the top clubs coming from Mikel now is Crystal Palace. And we're also talking about Mikel coming back to the national team. He has not played a game ever since the Russia World Cup, where Nigeria lost out at the group stage. And now the AFCON 2019 is almost at the corner. Teams are preparing. Teams are getting ready for the competition. Mikel coming back to the Nigerian national team. How important do you think that is? Should it be or not?
I think, as I said, he brings a wealth of experience to the team. He has a lot of there's certain things that you can't figure out or you can't understand unless you've gone through it yourself. And Mikel has been through a lot of these things. He can speak to the younger players, tell them how to feel, what's happening at the time of certain times, be a leader on the pitch, and he can be a leader on the bench too. He doesn't necessarily have to play 90 minutes of every game, but he can be that calming influence that a young player needs. Just put their hand around and just talk to you.
Now, do you think Mikel would want to do that? He's the captain of the Super Eagles team, as of now. He's still the captain. Do you think he would want to be that player who would be invited to the AFCON 2019 and wouldn't be featured in the game?
I think he's already doing that now. I really do.
Okay. All right, let's see how it turns out. 10-year challenge. A whole lot of people are really having fun on Facebook. And, I had this friend who was like, hey, Prince, wouldn't you go and do yours? Well, for me, I don't know if I had these pictures way back. It was just not my kind of thing, taking pictures. But whatever it is, man, it is a very good one for Mikel Obi. He's been in the Super Eagles for a long while. He's played and paid his dues. If he finally makes it to AFCON 2019, it's going to be his 5th AFCON appearance, and that's whopping for the young lad himself. Well, congratulations to Mikel as the only surviving player of the Super Eagles 10 years ago. Now, let's move on to the next story. A lot has been happening surrounding Ighalo, his career, his future, and what is next. We know that in China, he has left because the club actually went for relegation, so it's not something that he wants to actually think about. But a lot of clubs have been coming for Ighalo, and you know that right now in Nigeria, the Super Eagles, he's about our only best, a good striker. Yes, we've got some other likes of Musa. You don't call Musa a striker because he's more of a wing player, but right now Ighalo is considering not going to Tottenham, and his reason is not far-fetched. He says that if he signs for Tottenham right now, he would play, but if Harry Kane comes back, he's going to be relegated back to the bench. His reason.
Yes, if you look at his interview transcript, I mean, that's essentially his reason. Harry Kane is injured. It'll be, I believe, it's 6 weeks.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. All right, good. Continue.
Yeah, I believe it's 6 weeks. But in terms of Tottenham physios and fitness, he'll probably be back in 4 weeks. And so essentially you're giving him 4 weeks to come into the team, having already understood that the team is actually structured around Harry Kane. Yeah. He's not particularly best with pace. He's more technical, etc., etc. Yeah. There are different attributes that Ighalo will bring to the team that the team have to adapt around. And to do that in 6 to 4 weeks is not really going to happen, to then be relegated to the bench and not play.
Okay, good. Let's still talk about Ighalo. Ighalo in China, we know he was banging in goals, he was scoring goals, and you wouldn't want to compare him with Harry Kane. We know Harry Kane is up there, doing very good, but you wouldn't take it away from Ighalo that he's also a great striker, banging in goals. And if you look at Ighalo fitting into that Tottenham team, why do you think he cannot really give a fight to Harry Kane?
Oh, I don't think he can give a fight, but he wants to play in the African Cup of Nations, and for that to happen, he needs to start. many games, more than a few games. And I think if you look at Llorente, who's supposed to be the second team striker in Tottenham, how many games have you seen him play this season? Even last year. And same thing. And even when Harry Kane does get injured, which is very, very rare, normally Son's the person who replaces him, and he's the winger. So for me, I think Ighalo's a great striker. He played very, very well for Watford. You know, he in a two with Troy Deeney. Try and find a team who plays some kind of 4-4-2 formation, or a team where he could play regularly, because that's the most important. It's, when it comes to strikers particularly, it's about playing and fitness.
So you basically don't
match fitness.
Yes, you don't agree with the fact. Okay, you agree with the fact that he shouldn't go to Tottenham and probably look for some other club he's actually going to play more often.
Yes, he's been very realistic.
All right, let's see how it goes. We'll all be here to, of course, tell you the final decision Ighalo has taken. For now, I think he's really just having a very good time resting and trying to prepare for whatever club that probably he decides to sign for. But hey, reasons why he doesn't want to sign for Tottenham, he feels he's not going to match up with Harry Kane. But well, I don't know, but I think he's a great striker. Yes, we know about this racism stuff, you know, that really happens over there in the UK, and the fact that Harry Kane is an England player, you know, they probably want to, even if Ighalo is better, they probably want to use him ahead of Ighalo.
Yeah, but Harry Kane consistently scores 20, 25 goals a season. It's a difficult person to unseat. I think he's been very, very realistic in this regards.
All right, let's see. Let's move on to the next story. It's quite great. Let me talk about this man who keeps doing so well for himself and doing so well for any team he plays for. Starting back when he started in Portugal. From Portugal, he left to Manchester United. From Manchester United, he left to Real Madrid. And he really did great exploits. Man, you can't just continue to count what he did for Real Madrid as a club. Now he decided it was time for him to leave Real Madrid and go to a new club, Juventus. And he has not been bad for Juventus, playing and scoring great goals. But just yesterday, he lifted his very first trophy. Cristiano Ronaldo is not stopping any soon, Tony.
No, he's not. He really isn't. He's gone from strength to strength. I'm really sad because I would like to see the Messi and the Ronaldo conflicts continue. It's
really?
Yeah. Yes, now,
over a decade. I mean, yes, they've actually been, you know, it's been them, and them all along over a decade. Why would you want them to continue? We've got some other players who are really doing very well.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the best between Messi and Ronaldo?
Now, you don't want to put me on that spot.
No, this is the thing.
Now, you want to put me on that spot. Now, I'm going to tell you, I keep telling people, anyone who asks me that question, that Messi is better. And I'll give you a reason why Messi is better. Not because he's... There's something about Messi. He's naturally talented. Messi's that guy who does things without strength. Messi's that guy who, it just flows. You get. Now, when you get to see someone like Ronaldo is a product of hard work. I tell anyone who wants to listen, Ronaldo is that guy that will tell you, you know what? You can do it. You can achieve it. If only you put your heart to it, if only you put your energy to it and work towards it, you can achieve it. Messi is that guy who wakes up and tells you, you know what, has God blessed you with the talent, don't bother your head. Yes, that's exactly. I say, look at both of them's careers so far.
Yes.
There was a time it was just Messi all along.
Yes.
Messi kept on, you know, from the Ballon d'Or this year to the next year, to the other year, to the other year. It was just him. You know, Ronaldo was just, you know, he comes and sneak in, pick one, go back, pick two, go back. So when you look at both players, they are great players. But that's my reason why I say Messi is better. Now I'm going to throw that same question to you. So who do you think is better?
Well, this is the thing. I also agree it's Messi as well. But if you speak to four other fans or 4 other people about football, they're going to say Ronaldo. Someone's going to say Messi. It hasn't been concluded. And this is what I mean. This rivalry is still there. And having one person in Italy, one person in Spain, we lose it.
That's exactly. Ronaldo said sometimes that he has really proved to the world that he's better. He said that he's proved to the world he's better than Messi because he has played in various clubs. You know, from Portugal to England to Spain, and now he's in Italy. The Messi just decides to remain in Spain. What do you have to say about that?
No, it's honest. But in fairness, I really can't. Both of them haven't won a World Cup. And
I think that's
something that leaves both of them.
Yeah, it's cool.
So until one of them wins a World Cup for the national team, no one can really boast about saying one is the best or the not.
All right, so you don't really buy what Ronaldo say about going to various clubs.
He's just gisting.
He's just gisting. Well, congratulations to Cristiano Ronaldo. Nobody's going to take it away from this young man. He's 33, I guess, or 32, and he's scoring goals. He's doing great things. Juventus, the coach of the Juventus, Allegri, said recently that they bought Ronaldo specifically because he's a decisive player.
Yes, and that's true. Since he won his first cup in Portugal at the age of 17, he's gone to score in 19 cup finals. So he doesn't only turn up to finals. He doesn't only play in finals. He's actually very decisive in finals. And that's you can't to buy that. You can't quantify how important that is. It's very, very important.
Oh, so, good. So, with Ronaldo in the team now, having lifted his first trophy for Juventus, and of course, Juventus being among the team, a whole lot of people are really, predicting that they're actually going to lift the Champions League because Ronaldo is there. You actually think that's going to happen with Juventus this season because they've got the man who is actually decisive?
Well, they've been knocking on the door, and it's very possible, very, very possible. I'm not going to come out and say so early now, but it's very.
Why do you think it's possible? Because Ronaldo is in the team?
Yes, I really do. Yes. And it's that. Yes,
all right.
He's that decisive.
All right, congratulations to Ronaldo. Well, he's lifted his very first trophy for Juventus. Maybe this buttresses his claims when he actually says that he's better than Lionel Messi, having moved from different clubs. And of course, in all those clubs he has moved to, Ronaldo has proved that, yes, he's so important to the team. Now, let's move on to the next story. Chelsea increasingly confident of signing Higuain. Now, reports reaching us this morning is that deal is almost sealed. Higuain to Chelsea. What do you make of it? Now, let's look at Chelsea as a team this season. They've not really done very bad. They got a new coach. He came in with the Sarri ball. Sarri came in with a Sarri ball. Conte was out. And Chelsea has been that team that has struggled this season with scoring goals. They probably get to win the game with 1-2, 2-1, 3-2. And most times, they play out a draw because they lack that man who is decisive. Unlike when Diego Costa was in that team. Now, Higuain coming to Chelsea. You think that's a solution to the Chelsea's scoring problem?
Well, Sarri knows Higuain well for his Napoli days. Certainly when Higuain was playing in Spain, he's a 20-30 goal a season striker. Some people look at his age and think he might have lost it, but I'm confident that if he does come to Chelsea, it'll be a good investment.
Let's look at Higuain. Let's look at Higuain in the days of Real Madrid. It was from that time that Chelsea has been keeping tabs on the young man, and I don't know, he probably didn't want to come to Chelsea when he was much more, let me use the word, he was on fire. He was better. He was scoring goals, great goals, impossible goals. He was having that rivalry between him and Ronaldo. He felt he's been in the Real Madrid team. Ronaldo came. Why would the team give him a whole lot of, attention away from him? And, that actually also led him away from Real Madrid. But let's look at Higuain and let's look at the Chelsea team. Yes, Sarri knows him in the days of his Naples days in Napoli, and we know how good Higuain is. But let's also not forget Jorginho is also in that team, which Sarri knows. But let's talk about Jorginho also as we talk about Higuain because Sarri knows him. Do you think Jorginho has performed for Chelsea so far? Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. I need you to move away from your TV set. All right, just call us back. The numbers are on your screen. Great important topics we're talking about. We know how far it has been with the Chelsea football team. They've been having issues with scoring goals. They can no longer trust Morata. There's this story making the rounds now. Morata is about to take a pay cut to go to Atletico Madrid.
Yes, he might very well move back to Spain. Striking is really all about confidence. It really is. And he clearly has lost his confidence. He's actually a great young talent. He has tremendous amount of potential. But it may be, for example, just like Fernando Torres, he just may need to move back to Spain, get his confidence and start again. For him, that's what I think may potentially need to happen. With Higuain coming into the team, If it does get confirmed, because I think there's personal terms that need to be agreed, etc., etc. It now moves Hazard back outside to the wing. Okay. So now he becomes the creative presence that actually Chelsea has actually lost because they've had to put him in the false 9 role in the striking role. So having a pure out-and-out striker is very, very good for Chelsea, particularly for Hazard.
Okay, so probably you feel that Hugh Green is a good buy for Chelsea at 31. He's 31. You know, I was saying something about his days in Real Madrid when he was probably 27, 28. He actually had the sparks. He had some years ahead of him to really do very well. But 31, Chelsea, and you're taking away a striker of 26, 27, Morata. You really think he's going to fit in for Chelsea? Jorginho, particularly for me, I think I've been watching Chelsea's game. He's not a bad player, but I still wouldn't put Jorginho ahead of a Fabregas. So if you feel that Higuain would fit into Sarri, how about Jorginho? Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. All right.
Yeah. Once again, I do agree with you, actually. I think Cesc Fabregas is a player who understands the Premier League. Yeah. And in fact, if it was up to me, I would have kept Cesc Fabregas. However, Sarri wants to play a particular type of football. I personally would have, I would have kept Kante in the defensive midfielder role. Okay. But once again, there's a style of football that he wants to play that he knows, potentially having Jorginho and having Higuain together, actually he'll be able to play that. Once again, he's 31, but remember, this is an Italian coach. Yeah. I think in terms of teams, like in the Premier League, Chelsea probably is the most Italian kind of team that you can think of in terms of its style and its tactical kind of setup. Okay. So in terms of age, it's not really about pace in terms of the way Chelsea play. It's more about their transitions. It's more about their tactical decisions and movement, and it's very short and sharp. It's not particularly long distance. Okay, well, let's see how it goes. That deal is almost finalized with Higuain becoming Chelsea's striker now, and of course, also reports making the round that Morata will be leaving to Atletico Madrid, and he's also ready to take a pay cut. Well, let's see how that spares out, because the January transfer window is here with us, and very soon it will also be over. Let's see if Higuain is the solution to the Chelsea striking challenges. Now let's move on to the next story. We know that ever since Ronaldo left the Real Madrid team, that team has actually been fumbling. Yesterday they lost a game to Leganés, and that's not a good one for the Real Madrid team. And the ex-Real Madrid president has said that he's surprised that there was no post-Ronaldo plan before selling that young man. I mean, I think the plan was that Bale would step up and continue scoring goals. That hasn't happened as we expected. As expected, yes, and it's taken longer time than we could have thought. But what would anyone think about Bale stepping up to probably fill in the shoes of Ronaldo, knowing fully well that Bale is an injury player? All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I need you to move away from your TV set so we can have a very clear discussion this morning.
Okay, I'll move away from my TV set.
All right, good. Your name and location?
My name is Donald. I'm from Enugu State.
Your name is Bernard from Enugu State?
Yes, Donald.
Okay, Donald from Enugu State. All right, Donald, go ahead with your contributions.
So I want to talk about that guy JD. He moved from one place to another, and he could keep another record.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
I said, Cristiano Ronaldo plays ball. He plays well. He plays to play well.
Yeah.
But now he went to Juventus. The miracle.
Okay, so
my contribution there is, it is better that Madrid to go and find the replacement to call him back and pick the young guy.
All right. Thank you very much, Donald.
If they want to do it, they will go and beg him and go on another replacement.
All right, Donald. Well, I think that's really great contributions. Thank you very much, Donald. Yeah. Thanks for calling. Donald went straight to the point. He says Real Madrid should either buy his replacement, which, that can probably measure up, or probably still go and beg Ronaldo to please come back to Real Madrid. What would you say about that? I mean, this is the thing. How do you replace Cristiano Ronaldo? How actually can you replace a player who scores 40 to 50 goals a season? Like, how can you replace that? Like, in fact, even coming up with a plan is impossible. As I said, I feel like they were looking for Bale to step up. As you said, he's injury prone, and this is the issue. So unless they want to go and sign Messi, Real Madrid selling Mercy. I actually think Mercy will actually come to the Real Madrid
Well,
team.
there you go.
But well, I don't know what Florentino Perez was really thinking when he was really having issues with C. Ronaldo, because I said I was going to give you something, and it was that time for you to give me something, and you're probably playing smart about it. And C. Ronaldo has probably passed that level where you probably tell him, see, we're going to do this, and you come back, not being sincere about what you said, and probably one of the reasons why he left Real Madrid. But you don't think that Real Madrid can go and probably plead with the guy to come back to Real Madrid?
No, I think it's not likely.
It's not possible.
I think Ronaldo made a very, very smart move by moving to Italy. He's added another 3 or 4 years to his playing career.
Yeah.
Yes, I really do think so. Italian league, the way they look after, particularly the older players, is amazing.
All right. Well, I don't know. The caller there, Donald, says that Real Madrid should get a replacement for Ronaldo quickly, or better still, go and the Real Madrid president should go and beg him to come back. I don't see that possible. But away from that, let's move on to tennis. We know about this man, Murray. Murray actually said that a few weeks ago that he was ready to retire from the game, and he doesn't seem that he's actually going to continue with the game. And just a few days ago also, he actually granted an interview that says he wants to come back playing. He has an injury right now, a hip injury that is really disturbing him. But this young man who also plays tennis, Brian, also had such injuries, went through it, came back good, and continued his playing career. And is also urging Murray to come back strong after the injury. What do you feel?
Yes, Murray has 2 decisions to make. He either rests for the next 4 months and gets ready for Wimbledon, or he has the injury, or he has the operation now for his hip, and hopefully recovers in time to play for Wimbledon. So it's the ball's in his court. Either he can play his last Wimbledon competition, or he can have the operation now. But potentially he might miss Wimbledon this year. In fact, potentially he could even have the operation and actually he can never play again. It's a very big decision.
It's a 50-50 thing.
Yes,
this is exactly where we are calling it a day on the program Sports Today, of course. And I want to say a very, very big thank you to the man himself, Tony. Many thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. I'm a Berry Ugonna. Tomorrow promises to be better. Of course, we'll bring you a lot of sporting stories. We'll be leaving you with a match against Nice and Monaco. Many thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.